Good evening and welcome. Listen, if you're here for the first time tonight, just stop here for a moment. Stop here for a moment. Really quickly, I just want to get a confirmation before I get started. Can everybody give me a network score? How's our network tonight? How's our network right now? On my side, instead of giving me green, it gave me kind of a yellow. 10, 100, 100%. 100 out of 10. Okay, that's good then. That's good. So that means you see me clearly. That means you see me shining. It's not me, it's him. That means you see me look like I'm blessed. Do I look blessed? I just want to know. Do I look blessed? Because I feel blessed. Shekinah is there. Okay, that's good then. That's good then. Favored. That's what I'm saying. Favored. Just favor upon me. Let's get into the word. Tonight we're starting another series within our 30-day series. And what we're talking about tonight and for the next few days is the power of resourcefulness. The power of resourcefulness. That's what we're speaking about here tonight. The power of resourcefulness. I want you to put that in the comment section. Everybody put that in the comment section. We are talking tonight about the power of resourcefulness. Today is day 13 of 30 days of favor. Right there in the comment section before we start tonight's session. Which session has stood out to you so far in the past 12 that we have done? Right there in the comment section, I want you to put the one that has stood out to you, one that you are still thinking about even now. Just one that you are still thinking about, because tonight we're starting with the power of resourcefulness. Prayer and fasting. I love it. Day 12, which was yesterday. The power of fasting, I learned a lot. Excellence, value, the importance of value, day 3. I see a lot of you, okay, kingdom-focused mission, excellence, and prayer and fasting. Value again, excellence, power of a gift. Isn't that interesting? Is it not interesting that for us as the body of Christ, as believers, we suffer with the same thing that, and excuse me for saying, but that the black community, at least in my country, suffers with. We often expect something that is subpar when you think of something, when you think of a church, when you think of a church, you don't expect the best of production. You don't expect the best of, hospitality. You don't expect the best of singers up on the stage or leading the worship. You don't expect the best of everything. You just kind of, and you're like, at least they're trying. We expect things that, or rather, there are certain things that we only expect outside. There are certain things that we only expect out in the world. When we go to a certain musician's concert, we expect everything to be spectacular. And then when we go to church, we know Sister Gertrude cannot sing. She cannot sing. But the fact that she has been in the church for a long time, and every week it's yeah, every day, and we just let it be. We're just like, she's singing for the Lord, and we just allow it. We just allow it. We don't hold ourselves to a higher standard. We don't hold ourselves to a standard of excellence. And that's why I truly believe it was important to speak about the power of excellence in the beginning, in the first few days of the series, in the first few days of this book, Unlocking Favor with God and People. Because we just accept. We're just like, it's okay. Marabore, she's been here. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. It's not. It is not. You know, out in the world, you hear people sometimes before a musician goes on tour. Before a musician goes on tour, she'll go to the gym. When you find out, they say, no, it's because I'm about to go on tour. And they want to make sure that they're in the best shape possible. They are in good condition for this. Okay, let me not keep going further. I'm just saying we need to increase our standard. You hear what I'm saying? We need to increase our standard. We have to hold ourselves to a higher standard. And I will even say to a higher standard than anybody else in the world, because we serve the King of Kings. Our God is a God of excellence. Our God is the God who made you. Who made you. Look at the way that you have been made. Look at the way that you get a cut on your finger and it heals itself. Look at the way that right now you are breathing. You're not even thinking about it. Look, you hear what I'm saying? No, we need excellence, man. Excellence. Anyway, tonight we're talking about the power of resourcefulness. Tonight we're talking about the power of resourcefulness. And of course, we are on day 13 of unlocking favor with God and people. We are on day 13 of unlocking favor with God and people. So if you have a copy, I want you to go ahead and grab it. And then I want you to open your Bible over to Matthew 25. Matthew 25. For the next few days, we're going to be speaking about the power of resourcefulness. The power of resourcefulness. And I want you to put that one more time in the comment section. I want you to put right there, resourcefulness. That's what we are talking about tonight. And what I'm hoping will happen with this, is that for many of us, we will be provoked to action after tonight's session, right? After tonight's session, we will be provoked to action. To be resourceful by definition, the dictionary definition of being resourceful is having the ability to find quick and clever ways to overcome the difficulties, right? Having the ability to find quick and clever ways to overcome difficulties. There are certain people who just know how to solve problems. There are certain people that whatever you give to them, they will multiply it. They will make it work. So tonight we're talking about the power of resourcefulness, and our more specific subject for tonight is start with what you have. Start with what you have. I want to read for you Matthew 25. We're going to read from verse 14 to verse 30. Verse 14 to verse 30 of Matthew 25. Hello from the island of Grenada. Hello from the island of Grenada. I don't even know where Grenada is. I don't even know. Now I know there's an island called Grenada. How amazing is that? I'm learning. Right. Again, it'll be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. Right there in the comment section, I want you to say wealth. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. Right there in the comment section, I want you to put that word more. But the man... Okay, 5 bags more. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Right there, say many things. Come and share your master's happiness. The man with 2 bags of gold also came. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. Then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came. My banner. Then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came. Master, he said, I knew that you were a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid. It's very important to note his reason. His reason is, I was afraid. He said, I was afraid. And went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you. Here is what belongs to you. His master replied, you wicked, lazy servant. You wicked, lazy servant. I've always found it very interesting that wickedness and laziness go in the same sentence. That wickedness and laziness, being evil and being lazy, puts it right there in the same definition of this man. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers so that when I returned, I would have received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him. Give it to the one who has 10 bags. Take the bag of gold from him. Give it to the one who has 10 bags. And we say the rich get richer while the poor get poorer. For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, listen, whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. Says, and throw that worthless servant, outside into the darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. There is something powerful about resourcefulness. There is something powerful about the faithfulness to take what has been given to you and without complaining, put it to work. My friend, that attracts favor in a way that you cannot imagine. When they come back with their multiplication, whether it was the one with 5 or the one with 2, just on the simple principle that they multiplied, the master was able to trust them with more. Just on the simple principle that what you give them can be multiplied. What you give them can be turned into something better, into something more. They are trusted with more. Listen, it's very important to note, before we say that there is something unfair about this, it's very important to note that in the beginning of this, you see this in verse 15. In verse 15, it says, to one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag. But that's not where it ends. It says, each according to his ability. Each according to his ability. Now, this is This is the brilliance of God, because if you gave 5 bags to this one, if you gave 5 bags to this, to the one who had received 1, he would have hidden the 5. And then if you gave 1 to the one who has the capacity for 5, you would have wasted potential. And so God doesn't waste potential. Listen, whatever it is that I have been given, whatever I have right now is what I can manage. And I can't lie to God. Listen to me. You and I cannot fool God. Whatever we have in our hands right now is what we are capable of handling. But the good news is that my capacity can increase. My ability can get better. I can get better. I can grow. From 1, I can go to 2, and I can turn 2 into 4. I can turn 4 into 8. I can turn 8 into 16. I can turn 16 into 32. I can turn 32 into 64. I can turn 64. You get it. That's the good news. You get what I'm saying? The good news is that I can increase. The good news is I can go further. I can go farther. I can handle more as time goes on. And so when we talk about favor, it's very important to understand that if you are, and let me put it this way, because there are certain people who are in a place right now where they're expecting God to give them more before they can do more. Right? There are certain people who are expecting more. Just God, if you can just give me more, then I'll do more. God, I know you've given me this vision, but if you give me more, then I'll do more. Here's what I want to say to you tonight before we go any further with this. You already have everything that you need. I know it's not an easy thing to say to somebody who feels sorry for themselves, to somebody who feels like a victim. I know if you feel like a victim, you're not going to like hearing this, and you're going to feel like, oh, he's again, this one you can hear, he's not in touch. I'm not here to touch anyone. I'm just saying, listen, you already have everything you need for the mission ahead. You already have everything you need to do what God has called you to do. Here's why I tell you this. I tell you this because everything starts with something. It always starts with something. And what you have been given right now is in proportion to your ability. Now you might be mad because you feel like, no, but I should have been born into a family that has money. Some people have been born into family. Some people were born with this. Some people were born with that. Listen. Whatever it is that you are expecting, whatever you are asking for, is contained within what you already have right now. It is contained within what you already have right now. And you'll understand this better. You'll understand this better as we break this down in page 94 of Unlocking Favor with God and People. Right? It opens up with Matthew 25:91, of course. Matthew 25:91. It opens up with, his master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." Once again, listen, you have been faithful with a few things. You have been faithful with a few things. You have been faithful with a little. And now you can receive more. God doesn't ask us to start with what we don't have. He asks us to start with what we do have. Once again, God is not calling you to start with what you don't have. He's calling you to start with what you do have. Sometimes the breakthrough you're praying for is already hidden in the little that's been placed in your hands. Let me say it again. Sometimes the breakthrough you're praying for is already hidden in the little that's been placed in your hands. That's the power of resourcefulness. Taking what God has given you in this season and multiplying it by faith, obedience, and diligence. Let me start off by saying this before we go any further. You ought to become the kind of person who multiplies everything they hold. You must become the kind of person. This must be known about you. This must become a character trait of yours. If you are going to walk in favor, if you are going to walk in favor with God and favor with people, if you will be the kind of people that people come looking for, the kind of person that people come looking for, the kind of person that people seek out just to bless, seek out just to give opportunities to. If you are going to become that kind of person, you must become the kind of person who multiplies what they've been given, and people will gladly give you what's in their hands. People will gladly, they will gladly give more to you. As long as you become the kind of person who is able to multiply what they have been given, you will never lack. You will never lack. This is on a practical level and on a spiritual level. Even on a spiritual level. Listen, let me put it to you like this. Some people's lives are just fertile ground. There are some people whose lives are just fertile ground. They have taken years to cultivate their hearts to be fertile ground. That when you bless them, you are blessed. There's no other way around it. There's no other way it happens when you... And so people come rushing to bless them because their lives are just fertile ground. And on a practical level, there are certain people that it is only right. It would be wrong to not promote them. It would be wrong to not give the opportunity to them. It would be wrong to not call them. It would just be wrong. Because these are the kind of people, listen, who take what God has given to them in whatever season, they multiply it by faith, obedience, and diligence. And I want to say something to caution us here. This is not something that we just merely pray for. This is something that we must intentionally cultivate in our lives. Because I feel like sometimes when people say they're praying for something, they don't think they should be doing something, right? You just pray for, oh Lord, if I can just, I'm praying to be a hard worker. God, I'm still trusting God to make me a hard worker. Huh? Okay. Page 95. Jesus tells a parable in Matthew 25 about a man who was going on a journey. Before he left, he called 3 of his servants and entrusted them with his wealth. One received 5 bags of gold, another 2, and the last 1, each according to their ability. Each according to their ability. And it's right there, verse 15 of Matthew 25. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. What's important here isn't how much they were given, it's what they did with it. Let me say that again. What's important here isn't how much they were given, it's what they did with it. So in other words, the same is true for me and you, my friend. What's important is not what you started with. What's important is what you did with it. Okay, fine. In just a moment, we'll talk about what you were not given. But can we first talk about what you were given and what you did with it? Can we talk about what you were given and what you did with it? Yo, Batong, leave us alone, Batong. We can't buy a house with 200 rand, vamos. I can't buy a house with 200 rand. So what must I do? Let me get black label. Okay, maybe you cannot buy a house with 200 bucks, but is there a way that you can manage it better so that you can have 400? Is there a way that you can manage it better so you can have 800? Is there a way that you can manage it better so that you can have just a little more than what you started with? And when that has happened, maybe only then do you become somebody who can be trusted with more. But at this point, we can't trust you with anything. At this point, we can't trust you with anything. Because yes, you cannot buy a house with 200 bucks, but you also cannot buy a house with 50,000 rands. So we can't trust you with 50,000 since you can't buy a house with it. Because now you're just gonna graduate from black label to sort of a fee, whatever it is that they drink, the expensive ones. You know. Okay, let's say 100,000. You can't buy a house with that either. So since that is your way of reasoning, your way of thinking, from there you're just gonna, it's the character of the person. There are certain people who are just more resourceful than others, and they will always have more than the rest. And so the issue is not in what you don't have. Let us first talk about what you have. Let us first talk about the opportunities that were given to you. Let's first talk about that. No, but his father gave him. But did you know that for his father to give him that, his father started with less than what you have right now? So don't worry about him. Worry about what his father started with. His father started with nothing and got to the point where he could give him something. So for you, your father was busy with other things. Let's focus on you right now. What did you start with? What did you start with? Listen, as long as there is a man out there who is going up on stages with no arms, with no legs, just wobbling up on the stage and speaking to people, inspiring the nations. As long as there is such a man, what's his name? Nick something. As long as there is such a man, you cannot convince me that you did not have enough to start with. Can't convince me you didn't have enough to start with. Do you hear what I'm saying? So, what's important here isn't how much they were given. Forget how much you started with. Let's focus on what you did with it. Let us focus on what you did with what you were given. The first two servants invested and multiplied what they were given. But the third servant, afraid and insecure, buried his talent. Afraid and insecure. He buried his talent. He had something, but he didn't use it. And when the master returned, only the ones who had multiplied what they had received, who had replied what they had, received favor and reward. Let me say that again. Only the ones who had multiplied what they had received favor and reward. Only the ones who had multiplied, only the ones who were fruitful, only the ones who took what they had and made something else out of it. Can I tell you something? Let me tell you something that will bring some comfort to you. I'll tell you something that will bring some comfort to you. Talk to anybody in this world who started with nothing. I challenge you to find a very successful person. Let's speak career-wise or monetarily. Find a very successful person who has prospered, who has completely went to other dimensions. But I want you to find one who started with nothing. And what I want you to do is I want you to ask them, can you honestly tell me that you worked for everything you have? An honest one will tell you, there was a time when I used to only have what I worked for, but for me to have what I have right now, this cannot be the hard work. I always worked hard, but this here cannot be the reflection of hard work. No. This here is favor. This here is favor. So I put the hard work in, I put the grind in, I was diligent, I was excellent, I did what I had to do in the beginning, but at some point, for me to go to the next dimension, I had to receive favor. Some of them will tell you that they were lucky. Some of them will tell you that they are blessed. They will say it in different ways, but all of them will tell you, it all comes down to this one idea. At some point, you need favor. All of them will tell you that. So we're not saying that every single thing that comes to you must be earned. But we are saying that if you prove yourself to be a resourceful person, if you prove yourself to be a diligent person, if you prove yourself to be somebody who is capable of handling a little that is given to you, then you can be trusted with much. You can be trusted with much. Listen, anybody who tells you their story and they skip the part of God's grace is lying to you. They either stole it or they're lying to you. Everybody knows. At some point, listen, at some point, there is something that was just, it was above me. It was beyond me. I had the skills, I had the experience, I had the know-how, but I didn't have the right connection. Right? I had this, I had that, but there was no way I could have known that it would happen that quickly. You hear what I'm saying? So it's very important. It's very important that you and I understand the power of resourcefulness. Doesn't matter what you don't have. What do you have? What do you have right now? God will meet you with multiplication. God will meet you with favor. God will meet you with more grace as you bring to Him what you have. As you take the little that you have and you begin to multiply it, and you begin to multiply it, and you begin to multiply it, and you begin to multiply it. Somebody like that cannot be left without anything. Somebody like that will never be without. Let's go on. God responds to movement. God blesses movement. He favors action. There is a divine pattern throughout Scripture. Do what you can, and God will meet you with provision, favor, and increase. Do what you can, and God will meet you with provision, favor, and increase. If you don't start doing what you can with what you have right now, I'm telling you, you will be waiting for a long time. You will be waiting for a long time. And all that's going to do is it's going to breed resentment in your heart. You're going to start hating people because you're going to think that everybody just waited for God the way that you waited for God. But what you don't know is that the favor is motion activated. Right? A favor is motion activated. A great evangelist once said it like this. I forget who this is, but they once said, I heard him say one time, God moves with the movers, but He does not sit with the sitters. He moves with the movers, but He does not sit with the sitters. There's no way that you think that you're going to sit down and wait for God to prove Himself by putting something in your bank account before you do something. Okay, can wait then. Listen, to Him a single day is as 1,000 years. Listen, it doesn't matter. Time doesn't matter to Him. It's okay. If you think you're going to wait for Him, He'll wait for you. He'll wait for you. Right? So, do what you can, and God will meet you with provision, favor, and increase. I've seen this in my own life. This is my favorite part of the book. When I wrote my first book, I didn't have a laptop. I didn't have money. I didn't even have clarity on what it would become. I was depressed, desperate, and sitting in a season of deep need. But I had one thing, a blank sheet of paper and a word in my spirit. I picked up a pen and wrote the first sentence. That act of obedience unlocked the next step. I received just enough money to go to a local computer shop and pay by the hour to type out my manuscript. After that, a friend gave me an old laptop they were no longer using. And when the book was done, God made provision for the first 50 copies to be printed. Those 50 books led to the next open door, and the favor has continued ever since. Today, you're holding my fourth book, but it started with one blank page and a step of faith. Started with one blank page and a step of faith. You know, when I write it like this, I'm not writing this for poetic effect. No, that's not what it is. I still remember where I sat. I still remember where I was. I still remember I was sitting at home in my parents' house. I was in my parents' house. I was sitting at my desk. I didn't have a chair like this. This here is a nice chair. I didn't have a chair like this. I had a pen and I had some blank white sheets, and I didn't have, at the time, I had this old phone, but I didn't have a laptop. I just sat there and I started writing. I said, I would want to call my book this. And then I started writing. And when I had so many pages and I had went through a couple of pens, I said, I can't keep doing this anymore. This is not sustainable. I need something else. And you know what happened? It's only then. And here's the interesting thing. Here's the interesting thing that I'll tell you. The friend who gave me the laptop will also tell you, I asked him before I started writing the book. I asked him, I said, brother, don't you have an old laptop that I can use? He looked me in my face and he said, no, I do not. He said, no, I do not. I said, okay then. I went home, I started writing, and only when I couldn't keep going with my pen and paper anymore, that's when it suddenly came to mind for him. He said, PK, you know, I just remembered, man. There's this laptop that I used to use back in the day. It's a bit slow and you have to keep it plugged in for it to work, but I can bring it to you. If you think you can work with it, I can, you can make it work. I said, of course, bring it. But I kid you not, he did not. I asked him, before I started, I asked him. He said, I don't have. And to this day, I really do believe that remembrance comes at just the right time. Okay, and I also believe that if I hadn't started writing with my pen and paper, he would not have remembered that he has this old laptop. But sometimes we expect people to pour into what we want to do, and people will only pour into what you are already doing. Listen to me. People will pour into what you are already doing, not into what you want to do, not into your intentions, not into your dream. It's into your actions that people will pour into. People will invest in what you are doing. Not in what you say, one day, one day, let me tell you, one day, start right now. Start now. You hear what I'm saying? One day now I'm going to have a farm. In my farm, I'm going to plant the spinach there in your backyard now. Plant the spinach. Know how spinach works. Before you say, if only they can just give me 10 acres, then I'll plant the spinach and I'll feed the nation. Plant the spinach in your backyard. Show us that you are serious about this. Show us that you're serious, right? You don't know what spinach works. You don't know anything about spinach, but you want somebody to give you land so you can go and you will do nothing when you get the land. Plant now, today. Today. You say you want a plant today. Here, now. Show us that you're serious. Show us what you mean. And I'm telling you right now, favor is motion activated. Favor is motion activated. When God shows up and he says, what do you have in your hands? And you say, well, God, let me tell you, I learned how it works. I learned that in these kinds of weather conditions, you've got to do this. I learned that when this happens in the garden, this is what you need to do. I learned that this is how you prevent these insects from coming and ruining the thing. I learned that this is what you do. I learned that this is what you do. Now I just need a bigger piece of land. Okay, then let's just give you a little piece of land. And you make that work, and you say, God, let me tell you, now I learned how to manage the whole field. Because you see, the other day I had this and I had this and I had that, and then I also figured out how to find suppliers, or rather suppliers for what I need over here. And then I also found out how I can supply stores around here, yada yada yada. But now I just need more. I just need a bigger piece of land so that I can do more. That is the person who always receives more. That is the person. Not the person who sits at the corner. Hey, if I had 3 million now, if you gave me 3 million now, yeah, no. Nobody shows up to invest in your intentions. Nobody shows up, and this should speak to somebody who has been looking for somebody to invest in an idea. The idea is just in your head. Listen, this book here that we are reading is something that came from a moment of obedience. When there wasn't a laptop to type, the first one, when there wasn't anything. When I used to say, when I turn such and such an age, then I will write a book. I kid you not. You know what I used to say? I used to say, when I turn a certain age, there's a book I'm going to write called How Can I Make a Difference? That's what I used to say. Then one day I thought, why are we waiting? Why are we waiting? One day, I learned a long time ago that people will help you push your car when they see you pushing it. When people see you pushing your car, they'll help you push. Yeah. Now, when we see you sitting in the car next to the road, you can cry as much as you want. No one is going to stop and push your car. No one's going to stop and push your car. It's when they see you with one foot inside with the door open, and then you do this. There's this seatbelt method. I know a seatbelt method. You pull the seatbelt out of the car. You tie it around yourself like this, and you use that for leverage, and you push the car alone. It's only then when people see you go through all of that, somebody will stop and they will say, "Let me help you." 5 people might stop and say, let's help you. And what you've been struggling to do, what you have been struggling with for the past 30 minutes, they will help you do it within a minute. That's favor. That is what favor looks like. But it doesn't come to you while you're sitting in the car. It doesn't come to you while, Modimo, just send somebody. No. I see that you are doing the best you can with what you have. How can I add to that? I see that you are trying your best with the little that you have. How can I add to that? This is how favor flows. This, my friend, is how favor flows. This is good. No, this is really good. This is really good. This should speak to somebody, because some of us don't know this. Some of us don't know this. There is somebody who changed their whole entire life with a cell phone. Probably a cell phone that is worse than the one you have. Worse than the one you have. That's those cell phones that look like you are recording with a remote. Those cell phones. You hear what I'm saying? Let me put it to you this way. Okay, let me not say somebody. Let me not say somebody. There are so many people that we have reached. There are so many people whom we have impacted. There are so many people that have been blessed by the work we do. And if some of you knew the phone that I was using, and some of you used to tease me, and it's fine. It's fine. God heard everything that you said when you were teasing me. But I had the cell phone. I had the cell phone that I had to sellotape at eventually. Eventually, I had to put some sellotape on it. Eventually. It got so bad. It got so bad. Listen to me. There was no way. Oh, it was. Poloko, you can take my number. Let me give you my number. No. My phone, I can't take it out of my pocket. Let me put my number in yours. Because mine, I cannot take it out of the pocket. There are people whose lives have been transformed and catapulted to dimensions that you are only dreaming about. Even with way less than what you started with. Way less. And so the question is not how much do you have. The question is, what are you doing with it? What are you doing with what you have? We're on page 97. Resourcefulness is the seed of favor. God is watching how you handle what you have. Not what you're believing for, what you're already holding. I'm going to say this again. God is watching how you handle what you already have. Not what you're believing for, what you are already holding. What are you holding right now, and what are you doing with it? What are you doing with it? Do you manage your time well? Are you faithful with your money, no matter how little? Let me ask that again. Are you faithful with your money, no matter how little? Are you serving diligently, even when it's not glamorous? Are you showing up prepared and committed, even when nobody's watching? These are the things that attract favor. These are things that prove to God and to people that you can be trusted with more. Luke chapter 16 verse 10, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. You hear what I'm saying? Come on. Yeah, sometimes I want to make these examples, but I feel like I'm picking on people. But come on, listen. You bath twice a week, but you are trusting for a child. That child's gonna be dead, Timos. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna call the police. Listen, here's what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you is how you are handling what you have right now determines what you can be trusted with. It determines what you can be trusted with. It's not what you are believing for. It's not what you are waiting for. Go to the scriptures. Go to the word. Look at the people that God calls. Look at their little insecurities and how God got them past those insecurities. But God, I can't. I. And God says, You're not gonna tell me that you can't speak. God says, it's me. I'm the one who created the human being. What do you mean you can't speak? We're not changing the mission. Go. He says, but God, I don't know about this one. So what you gonna give me then? What do you have in your hand right now? It's a staff. Okay, good. What am I gonna do with the staff? Don't worry. Just grab the staff and go. Grab the staff and go. There was a time I wrote that first book, and all I had was a pen. That's all the resources I had. You know, right now there are some of you who are in different countries and you are reading the ebook version of my latest book, Unlocking Favor with God and People. But there is something powerful about the fact that what's happening right now started with a pen. A pen. There was a word that I had. There was something in my spirit, and I thought to myself, I've got to put this out there. You know, today I get messages from people asking me, yo, I have this book. I have written this book. Can you help me find somebody who's gonna... That's not how it works. Or even worse, sometimes I meet people who say, God, I've been wanting to write this book, ne? I've been wanting to write this book. I've been wanting to write this book, ne? God, yeah, no. I just pray God give me the strength. So you think he gave you the strength? He gave you the strength for everything else except to do the one thing that you want to do. Right. But we'll see. Just write. Don't come up with a story. Just write. Right. Start. What do you have right now? What do you have right now? What are you doing with it? You use what you have right now, and God is able to bless that. God is able to bless that. Man, I know people who have all kinds of stories. They have all kinds of stories. They'll tell you, you know, I wanna bake, ne? I wanna bake, but I don't have the money to go to baking school. What's the school that you guys go to? That one. I don't have the money to go to school to learn how to bake. So I just bake every now and then, going through. So you just want to waste money. You just want to waste money. What do you have? What do you have? The skill, the little bit of resources. I remember I was with this one lady one time, and my mind was never the same after that. It really changed the way that I think. I was with this one lady, her and her family are very well off. They do amazing things for the community with from their wealth, and we were on her way to her home, and I was gonna have dinner with their family. And I still remember she started saying to me, man, listen, you guys these days, I don't know how you are still surviving. I said, I wonder how you guys think. I said, what do you mean? She said, why do you guys need 350? What's 350 gonna do for you? I said, well, I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not getting 350 because I was too tired to go stand on the queues. I'm not gonna go stand on those queues. I remember she goes on to say, if I was getting that 350, if I was getting this 350 unemployment benefit, she said I would be the first one on the queue early in the morning, because I don't know how it was by you, but we used to have these long queues with people waiting to use their 350. She said if I was any of those people on that queue, I would wake up early in the morning. I'd be the first one on the queue. I would stand there. I would get my money, and as soon as I get my money, I would rush off to the nearest cash and carry to go and buy some snacks and to go and buy a couple of things that I know people will buy. I would come back to this very same queue, and I know that every single one of these people are about to waste their money, so I would rather they give it to me. I will sell them snacks, and I will sell them airtime, and I will sell them everything else. They're right here on this queue, and next month I wouldn't need to come back here again. And I said, oh. I said, what? You know what I did? You know what I did? I tried to tell it to somebody who used to go stand on those queues, because somebody said to me, and the money even finishes. They tell us the money finished. Now I gotta go back tomorrow. And I tried to give them the idea. I was so excited. I said, oh, this is about to blow your mind. I said, this is what you're gonna do when you go there. I said, you do this, boom, 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 boom. In this economy, I'm telling you about people are getting 350. It's guaranteed. When these people get off of there, the first thing they're going to buy is airtime and data. And what are you doing? Some people are resourceful and some people are not. And it's not something that you are born with. It's something that you decide. It is a matter of choice. It is a matter of choice. So here's that last sentence on page 97. On page 97. You don't need more to get started. You need to start to get more. Let me say that again. You don't need more to get started. You need to get started to get more. And if this should clarify it for anybody who are still confused. You don't need to be given more before you can start. You need to start before you can receive more. You hear what I'm saying? Here are some reflection questions for the day. And tomorrow's going to get really exciting. Reflection questions for today. Number one. What has God placed in my hands that I'm underestimating or ignoring? What has God placed in my hands that I'm underestimating or ignoring? You remember there was the woman with with the serious debt. That one who was in debt and they were coming to take her children. And when asked, what do you have in your house? She said, it's just a little, it's only a little oil in a jar. That one in the jar, that's the one that we want. That was the one that held the miracle in it. So, this is the question for you. What has God already placed in my hands that I'm underestimating or ignoring? Not what are you trusting God for? What are you believing God for? Listen, what are you praying for? No. What do you have right now that you know you can use? And you know there are other people who, listen, some of you right now, you are always sweeping narkies in your backyard. Always sweeping narkies. Take the narkies, put in a plastic bag, we will sell. But the problem with people who are stuck, the problem with people who don't have much and are just miserable that they don't have much, they'll tell you, no, there are a lot of people who are selling there by the street. There are a lot of people. You find a way to sell it. It's in your yard. You don't even have to go searching for it far away. You can take the little bit of that. You go and sell it. And then from there you go. Number two. How can I take the first step of obedience with what I have right now? How can I take the first step of obedience with what I have right now? We're practical now. We are very practical. Listen, the past 7 days, we spoke about prayer and we spoke about fasting. Now we are very practical. How can I take the first step of obedience with what I have right now? And then number 3, where do I need to become more faithful with little before asking for much? Where do I need to become more faithful with little before asking for much? I ask this because many of us have been, we have just been praying for more. We've been believing for more. We've been waiting for more. We're waiting for more. Oh, God, we need more. What are you doing with the little that you have right now? Where do I need to be more faithful? I know you need more. It's fine. But if you cannot handle the little, maybe you don't need more. Maybe then you don't need more. It's fine. Let's leave it. You're just going to waste. You're just going to waste. And you know who it goes to? What you are asking for goes to the person who already has. And then you will hate them for having, but the only reason why they got more was because they know how to get the job done. Now, let me put it to you in very simple terms. In very, very, very simple terms. Put it to you in very simple terms. You see, you have two people who, what do? They make magwenya. They make magwenya. I'll repeat the question again. Sorry, I'll repeat the question. I'll repeat the question. Wait. Sure. Right? You have these two people, they make magwenya. This one, on the other hand, has a lot of they have a nice, nice kitchen. They come from a rich family. Their mother gave them everything they need to start. They were given, they were given everything in the beginning. Listen, you cannot. They were given everything, but when it comes to making magwenya, they make really good magwenya. They wake up in the morning and they do the work. You show up there, everything is clean. You show up there and everything is good. And next door, there's this other lady next door who's trying to sell magwenya as well, and just trying to do this for her children. Trying to do this for her children so she can put her children through school. But when you look at it, if I eat this, I will die. I know. I just know if I eat this, I will die. There's no one can tell me any. I know. I'm very sorry, but I know that the situation that you have there, if I eat this, I'll die. I already know. Her story is sad and she needs more, right? Her story is very sad. I would, listen, I would love to help her. I really would love to help her. But I know if I eat that one, I'm not going to make it past 3 o'clock this afternoon. I'm not making it to 3 o'clock. You walk in there and everything, yeah. Now we can feel sorry as much as we want to. Right? We can feel sorry. But we're going next door. No, but the one next door, she already have a lot. You see, she has a lot of people. Come to me because now I don't have. I'm going next door. We're talking about the power of resourcefulness. We're talking about the ability to use the little that you have to unlock more. To use the little that you have and to use it effectively, to use it diligently. Well, listen, where do I need to become more faithful with little before asking for much? That's the third question, by the way. I'm reading the third question one more time before you guys shout at me in the comment section. Where do I need to become more faithful with little before asking for much? Where do I need to become more faithful with little before asking for much? Think about it. Just think about it, right? With what you are doing right now. See, for me, it was little things like, okay, cool, prepare better for these live streams. Okay, fine. These days you haven't been showing up on time. Show up at the time that you said that you will be there. Show up at the time that you said that you will be there, and deliver to the best of your ability. That's it. That's it. And we'll figure something out. We'll figure something else out. Okay, we wrote a book. Most people will write a book and just let it go. They'll write a book and say, please buy the book, buy the book, buy the book, buy the book. And then once everybody has bought the book, that's that. Okay, what can we do? Here's what we'll do. We'll create a whole series over here on TikTok where we will go through the book with the people. We'll go through the book with them so they understand it. We don't want to say, go read it. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. If you don't get it, forget about it. No, I want to go through it together. Right? We're going to go through it together. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to make sure that what I've shared with the people, I go further. Let's get serious, friends. A challenge for you. A challenge for you. Here's our challenge. Make a list of the top 5 resources you have access. Okay, let me say this again, because some of you are about to shout at me. Read it again. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. Make a list of the top 5 resources you already have access to your skills, your tools, connections, knowledge, or experiences. Pick one and take one bold action this week to multiply or use it well. And then here's the thing: document the process. Document the process. Once again, I can't tell, I don't know everybody here, so I can't tell you exactly what to do. But here it is. Listen. Make a list of top 5 resources you have. Listen, maybe you can speak well. Maybe you can write well. Maybe you have great hospitality skills. Maybe you can cook really, really well. Maybe you bake. Maybe you know how to sell. Or I don't know. You're good at connecting people. You can clean houses. Listen, what can you do? What can you do? You write down those resources that you have, and then you pick one. With that one, you go and take a bold action. Man, a bold action, right? Maybe for somebody here, a bold action might mean this week I am going to call 100 companies and tell them this is what I can do for them. I know I've been waiting for an opportunity, but now I'm going to call 100 companies. I'll find them, and I'm going to tell them this is what I can do for you. Yo, my rejection. You're too old for this. You're too old for this. Let's get serious. Listen, that's what I'm going to do. Right? So, whatever that thing is, I'd like to encourage you tonight, and I would like to remind you, my friend, that favor is motion activated. Whatever it is that you are trusting God for, whatever it is that you have been asking for, it is contained, it is locked up in what you have that you haven't been using. That which you have, which you haven't been using. You know why I tell you to document the process? It's because if you go back to the page before on this devotional that you've been reading, if you go back, I told you about how I wrote that first book. I told you about how I wrote that first book. I needed to document that. Listen, in my head, I was sitting there saying, I can imagine one day when this is in a movie about my life, this is gonna look so cool. That was me. That was in my head. But the principle is simple here. If you will do that, in the same way that every time that God would get ready to bring breakthrough, he would always say to his people, I am the Lord your God who did this in the past. I am the Lord your God who did this. I am the Lord your God who did this. One day you will feel stuck. And when you feel stuck, that's when you will remember, last time that I was stuck like this is what God did. I will go back to that journal. I will go back to that notebook. I will say, oh, I remember what God did with this. I remember what God did with this the last time I did this. Right? So, God will bless what you start with. It's not the ideas of your mind that he will bless. It's the work of your hands. Can I say that again? He will not bless the ideas of your mind. He will not bless your intentions. He will bless the work of your hands. what is in your hand.